Well, a good afternoon. It's Sunday, October 13th, 2019. This is the Central Florida Computer Society and the Windows Special Interest Group, as I call it, the WinSIG Meeting. And we're about to begin for the afternoon. Thank you for joining us online. Thank you for being in the library in Castleberry. We've got several items to cover today. They went out in the newsletter. And actually, I posted a few things on Facebook. I've updated the list online. And I am, by the way, I'm Huey Poplock, in case you don't know that, in case somebody's listening or watching the presentation for the first time. So bring this down, and then we're going to bring up the website. Before we do that, let's go here. And here's where the meeting notes are. I'll full screen this and make it larger. The meeting notes are always posted a few days in advance as soon as I get them set up. And today's notes and meeting notes are here for 10/13 and the previous months of this year. And you can go back in the menu and go back to previous years, going back about 11 years. Not all of them are recorded, but the last 5 or 6 years at least are recorded. And a lot of interesting and good information in all of them. The meeting notes for today, as I said, are posted here. And these are the items. I have added 2 more that I'm not going to talk about today. And the reason I'm not going to talk about them is there is a speaker in the main meeting today at CFCS, and he's going to be talking about Windows 10. And so what I'll probably do is just talk about the topics. So if he doesn't touch on them, you can go back in and see them. But what I do, the first one I did want to touch base with, I'm going to do this one first. Actually, I didn't have to do that. And that's not the one I wanted. So I may have the link wrong. And close that. Bring this back up here. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, I think I've got these links in reversed, and I will fix that. But the new name for the Windows 10 November update, which is going to be 1909, but it's been delayed a few times and will be coming out sometime next month. So it's going to be known as the Windows 10 November 2019 update. You'll also see it as version 1909, or you may see it 2019 H2. So they're doing all kinds of naming conventions trying to find the right one. But there'll be a big update coming sometime next month. And I do have an article about some of the new features, but I believe your speaker in the main meeting is going to be talking about that. So I am going to defer the discussions on that. He's also going to be talking about upgrading Windows 7. And so if you need to do that and you want to download the Windows 10 for free, there's an article here that'll tell you how. And before you do all of that, one thing you want to do is make sure you have your restore points set up. Instead of doing it this way, remember I was going to do it a different way. So let's close that. And we're going to open up this. And what we want to do is reset and let's see. Find the right article here. Right here. And open this. Enable and create a system restore point. And this is an updated article. System Restore is a utility that exists in Windows 10 And it's important if something goes awry with your system and you need to get it working again. Windows 10 has a lot of new features. Many of the old, tired, and trusted system tools still exist. The system restore is one that's still here, and an important one if you have something go wrong with your system. So now you could get to the system restore by going system or system the usual way, opening up control panel with your mouse or key, have Cortana do it. Why not start using the cool features in Windows 10? And you could say, hey, Cortana, open up control panel, and you'll see something like that. And I don't use Cortana. Then the next screen, configure screen restore. Or if you want to just type in restore point, and whatever route you go, it'll bring you to the system protection. Click the configure button, and you may need to turn it on. So let's take a look at how you do that. Hang on one second here, and we'll exit. And what we want to do is come down here. We're going to type in restore point. And it says create a restore point, and it takes you to control panel, and it'll just take you right there. And what you do is the computer name, hardware, advanced system protection. You want to configure it, and you don't want to click the system restore. At this point, you can revert to it. If you do, it'll give you a list of ones that are there. You want to make sure it's turned on. Performance, user profile, setup and recovery, and the computer name. And you can give the computer a name. Right now I do have one. And to change this computer, so what does the article say to do? Computer name, hardware, system protection. You want to go to system protection. Then you want to go to, and you'll see that protection settings, it's turned on for D and for my C drive. Notice here that if one is off and one is on, I have both a C and a D drive. And so you want to make sure it's turned on, and then look at the system restore. And when you open it, it will say that recommended restore, and then tells the last time I did a restore point, which was on the 10th. And it tells me what happened when I did it, or the recommended restore. Or if you choose a different restore point and you click next, it'll give you a list of them. I really don't like to go too far into these things during a presentation in case it starts to do something and disconnects us and puts me in a position where I can't get back on for a while. So that's how you do the system restore point. Make sure you've got that turned on before the updates start. So you've got a couple of weeks, but I would do it as soon as possible. And then also do a backup of your data. And then if you have software or get software to do a complete backup, you want to do that as well before any of these updates. Okay, next item that I want to talk about from the list. And let's see. Here in the meeting notes. There we go. It's the APCUG Florida Technology Conference. And that's not what I wanted there. Thought I had one open, but I guess I closed it. There's a window. But let's just go to, come on. And the APCUG website and their 2019 Florida Technology Conference. which is going to be November 9th and 10th. Let's make this larger. Here's the conference schedule, but I've got a couple of things here that I want to show you first. So let's minimize this. I gotta minimize this. Whoops, can't minimize that. Okay. And so first of all, what is the conference? The APCUG, let's see, it's not showing up here. So why is that? Am I sharing? I turned off shares. What happened? There we go. And let me make the font bigger so you can read it. Okay, the APCUG 2019 Florida Technology Conference. It's a day-and-a-half event that includes 2 breakfasts. One includes some champagne, 1 lunch, and 1 sit-down formal dinner. The conference offers at least 8 technology presentations and the opportunity to meet and greet old friends and make new ones. There'll be a welcome bag. There's going to be door prizes, including a Chromebook. Registration is only $75, and that includes all those meals and all the presentations and the drawings. The registration either needs to be mailed in, or if you don't get it filled out in time to get it mailed in, you can bring your check to the conference. But please bear in mind that once you register, unless you cancel your registration, they're going to be ordering enough food and have to pay for it. So we do need to have you mail in that registration. Please don't wait and bring it to the conference. Registration link is below. The meeting venue is at the Elks Lodge in Zephyr Hills, Florida. And the hotel is the Quality Inn in Zephyr Hills. And there is an address. The hotel is $65 a night for non-smoking, either 2 double beds or 1 king-size bed. And by the way, the Quality Inn is right next to a Golden Corral buffet. And Friday night, they're going to try to get everybody who was in town the night before. If you want to get together and have dinner together, that's probably where we'll have the dinner. It will be at the Golden Corral right next to the hotel. And there's a registration link, and this is all on the website as well, or if you can't find it, please get back with me. There's a registration link, there's a speaker list, and a presentation schedule. And I want to show you what the presentations are. First, let's see. The keynote will be done by Dave Dockery, president of the Tampa Bay Technology Group. And if you've ever heard him speak, he's a great speaker. He's also doing a presentation on Sunday. Then I'll be doing one called The Browser, Your Most Important App. And then there's some people from the Hearing Aid Specialist, Affordable Hearing Help, and from the Central Florida Central Florida Field Representative from Starkey Hearing Technologies. They're going to be talking about hearing aids and some new technologies in hearing aids. Then Bob G is going to talk about Avast. They have more than just the Avast antivirus, and he's going to talk about all of their products, and he's going to do that in 45 minutes. And then Carl Lofstrom, the president of the South Walton Computer and Technology Club up in the Panhandle of Florida, is going to be talking about some things with education, and there is a description of these that I will show you in just a moment. Then flying in from California is the territory sales manager for a company called Clear Captions, Karen McClellan, and she'll be coming in talking about Clear Captions. Then David Yoakum is going to be talking about virtual reality and 3D printing. Then Judy Tallur is going to talk about digital asset estate planning. Even after you've died, your identity isn't safe. She's going to tell you different things that you need to do to prepare yourself and your relatives after you're gone. Then Bill Crow from the Sarasota Technology Users Group is going to talk about youth and technology. Dave Dockery will be back to talk about artificial intelligence. And then Dave Williams talk about APCUG. And then there'll be door prizes and giveaways. So those are all of the topics. And then also on the website is a PDF. I can find it now here. It actually describes all of the presentations. It looks like this with a description of all of them. And the two that I did want to mention is the hearing aids. They're going to talk about the latest technology in hearing instruments. They'll discuss and demonstrate how hearing aids have entered a new age. I know some people that do have hearing aids that are connected to their phones and adjust to various things and even their TVs. So you're going to want to listen to that and see that presentation. And then the one on education with Carl Lofstrom. He's going to be talking about new peer instruction method for active learning, and then learning how to learn outside of the class. In other words, how can you learn how to learn? Those of us who are a little bit older, some of us don't remember how we learned. And he's going to give you some hints and tricks to help you learn, once again, be able to learn. And then Clear Captions is going to be talking about the no-cost captioning service Clear Caption provides to those who are hard of hearing and how this is possible through Title IV of the ADA. So, and then David Yoakum's going to talk about the educational industry to provide superior cutting-edge training and technology to create the future of MacGyvers of tomorrow, plus 3D printing and virtual reality. So, and then, as I said, Judy's going to talk about your online life after your death. And then on Sunday, Bill Crow's going to talk about youth and technology and what's it going to look like in 20 years. And then Dave Dockery, again, is going to talk about some artificial intelligence and what's the likely advantages and disadvantages of implementation. And then Dave will talk about APCUG. We'll have the giveaway and wrap up. So a conference that you should go see and join in. Please do so. Go to apcug.org or apcug2.org. It'll take you to the right site. Fill out the reservation and send your money in, and we'll see you there. So let's see what's next on our agenda for today. Social media. Some of you use social media, a lot of you do. And a lot of them want you to put headers and pictures and so on, and you don't know what size, and when you put the picture up there, it just doesn't fit right, doesn't look right. And there are certain image sizes that you need to be able to do that. And what this website does is it's a social media image sizes cheat sheet. And let's again bring it up here. Oops. And open it here. This was updated about almost a year ago, but it still fits everything. But the social media platforms are forever changing, and the image sizes and formats. So to keep you all updated, this person has recreated the social media image sizes and cheat sheet to 2019. So it's been updated for this year. Explains what the best sizes are for each of the social networks and the image types to use. So if you want to get the right header at the top of your Facebook page, you want the right header on Instagram or on other sites, this is the way to figure that out. So you download, there is a PDF of this, so you can download it and it'll give you all the information, but it tells you what sizes Okay, well, that didn't work very well. I guess that's one great big file. I thought it was individual ones, but it gives you the sizes for Facebook, 820 by 312 for the cover photo. For your individual, 180 by 180 will be that space there. And then you want shared images, shared links. And so what you want to do is take a look at all of these things. And then if you use I can't remember the name of it now, the business one, or there's all of these different ones. There's Twitter, what you want to have for your Twitter, and for Google Plus, and so on. And they're all listed here with all the sizes. So that's a good page to keep in your records, so when you need it, you'll know which size to use. Okay, Internet Explorer is the next one. And let's see. Let's talk about this. The new Internet Explorer bug can take over your entire PC. So stop using Internet Explorer. That's the original browser that came with Windows prior to Windows 10. Windows 10 started changing to Microsoft Edge, and now there's going to be a new Edge. But if you're still using the old Internet Explorer, you really should stop using it. There are a lot of bugs in it. The new Internet Explorer bug can take over your entire PC, not just Internet Explorer. And the best workaround for it is don't use Internet Explorer. This is an article from this past month. If you haven't moved beyond Internet Explorer, here's another reason to do so. Google and Microsoft have discovered a new IE vulnerability that can take over your entire PC. Last, a couple of weeks ago, a scripting engine memory corruption vulnerability that exists within basically every version of Internet Explorer for Windows 7, 8.1, and 10. Discovery of the bug was credited to somebody from Google's threat analysis. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. And reported earlier by the Register. The vulnerability corrupts memory in such a way that an attacker could execute arbitrary code in the context of the current user, according to Microsoft. So in other words, if an attacker is able to convince you to click on an effective web page, that attacker can do whatever they want to your PC and your stored data. So if you're using IE, the best thing to do is stop, then start using either Edge, Chrome, Firefox, and there's a bunch of others. And I'm going to be talking about setting up your browsers and add-ons and so on, and settings for them at the conference in Zephyr Hills. Okay, the next item, reset and reinstall Windows from the cloud. Let's see. Find that one for you. Okay, has to get the password set. I don't see the article for it. I'm just missing it, but okay. Anyway, it's there. And go here. Then I want to go back to the SIG notes. reset and reinstall Windows from the cloud, and the latest Windows 10 Insider Preview. So this is coming. It's not there yet, which are preview releases of next year's version of Windows 10. What you're going to be able to do, the new Windows Cloud download feature allows you to reinstall Windows 10 using fresh Windows installation files from the cloud. There's no need for a recovery partition or to create a USB drive. The Windows team wrote about the benefits of using cloud download. It's a more reliable way to reinstall Windows. Depending upon your internet speed, it can be faster and no need for a USB stick or a DVD. There's two options to reset from the cloud. First, you have to have a running copy of Windows 10, and you want to do a fresh install, you can use the recovery. And this tells you how to reset your Windows 10 from the cloud in the recovery settings. If you have currently a running Windows 10 machine and you want to initiate a reset or reinstallation from the cloud download, you can do this through the Windows settings. And then if you can't boot, this tells you how to do it. You'll click on Troubleshoot, then you'll click on Reset this PC, and then you'll choose between Keep My Files or Remove Everything, and then you can select Cloud Download or Local Reinstallation. So you can do it locally or you can do it from the cloud. You'll need the drivers for the network adapter in the image, but most of the time you have the drivers for the wired connection. So it will also work with wireless network connection depending upon the drivers loaded by the PC vendor in the image. So in conclusion, Cloud Download is a great new option to reset and reinstall your Windows 10 machine and getting it back to a healthy and fresh installation. This is just another new feature in Windows 10, like other improvements we've seen over the last couple of years. So this is coming. It's not here today, but it's coming. Until I go to the next item, Stan, anything, anyone have any questions? And I'm looking at the chat box to see if there's anything there.
Anyone have any comments or questions before we move on? No, guess not.
Okay.
He can't do anything about that.
The complete guide to finding long lost passwords hiding anywhere. I've been working on some screen captures for this. I'm not sure if they're ready yet or not. I did clean some things off with it. Let's go ahead and find it. And here. If you're not using a password manager, I highly recommend it. I use one called eWallet. There's Dashlane. There's RoboHelp. There's RoboHelp or RoboForm, something like that. And there's FirstPass, LastPass. There's all kinds of password managers out there, and I really, really encourage you to use one. A lot of times when you are on the web and you go to a website and it asks for your sign-in name or your username and your password, you type it in and it says, do you want to save this? And if you click yes, it saves it. So the next time you log on to that website, it will pop in the information you need to connect. Now, you have to bear in mind a couple of things. Number one is, there's nothing protected about that information. If someone can get into your system, they have access to the file where those are kept. Let's see, you can track which ones you have, and it tells you here in the article. So in Chrome, for instance, I'm using Chrome. You go to Settings, Show Advanced Settings, and Manage Passwords. And I'm not going to do it because it'll show you my passwords and show you some information. But I've got a couple of screen captures I did this morning. So let's let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we're sharing everything here. Let's make it so it's not quite so confusing. I'll minimize all of this stuff. And what we're going to do is let's see, go back to the browser, which is here. And I'm going to go to settings. I'm using Chrome. And notice here under autofill, it says passwords. If I click there, and I'm going to click away. Okay, so let me show you a couple of slides I have. I can find them quickly. So we have and I have to go find it now. Notice I have everything in certain orders here. Let's go down to the bottom here. So I think this is the first one. This is what I started to show you there. And this is what it looks like. What you'll see is what the website is that you saved your password to. Then it will show your username, and then it has the password. And you'll notice here there's an I. And that means you want to see what that password is. So if we go to the next picture, if I click on that, it's going to come up in Chrome on the PC. And I think this is a Windows security thing. I'm not sure if this is true on all operating systems, but in Windows 10 it is. I have to put the PIN in for my account with Windows to be able to get into my account to show that file. So that's a safety. So people can't just get into that file to look, but they can see a list of all of the websites that you go to, and then approximately the length of your password. And then if you do get it to come up and you put in the right PIN, it will put a line through the I saying that it's there, and your password will be showing there in text. Well, it's just a text file. So there's no security on those. If you've got a long list of those, and you can go in and look at them. Firefox does the same thing. IE does the same thing. So you can go in and see what passwords you've saved in the past. Now, a couple of times when I've helped people with their computers and they've lost their password, this has helped me find it. They didn't realize that they had saved a copy. But of course, it's also not very safe. So if they should bring it into a repair shop and somebody in the repair shop is not very scrupulous, they can get in and look at their file and get a list of all of their websites and all of their passwords. Or if someone breaks into your computer by running, you're running IE and they get access into your computer, or if you think that they're a site to help you with your computer and you give them access to go in and browse your computer and they download this file, they can get into it. And so I highly recommend that you have a password program that's highly encrypted and uses a very long password, and only you can get into that. Any questions on that? I bet you didn't realize that all of those passwords are probably out there. And when you go home tonight and check it, you will find that they're there. And you might find some passwords or some websites that you haven't been on in a long time, and those passwords are out there. And if you use the same password in several sites, that means some people can have access to a lot of your information. So, Stan, question?
When you're saying they're out there, then anything that the browser is stored is on your computer, is it not?
That's correct. But if somebody gets into your computer in any way and can get to the files, they have access.
All right, so what this indicates to me is it really would be very worthwhile to have a password so that no one can get into your computer. If they turn it on, you have to have a password to log on to it.
Absolutely.
That would protect it. But
and the other thing is, if you're helping somebody with their computer and they don't remember passwords, this might be a way you might find out some of the passwords to help them.
Sure. And if you were taking it to a shop to protect against could you not password the browser and make it so the browser would not be automatically openable to a repair facility?
I am not sure if you could do that, and I'm not sure whether that would protect the file. I'm not sure where the file is and how the file is stored.
Yep.
That's a little bit above my pay scale. But there's probably a way to take that file and just open it. And then Dick asks, is there a way to delete all the passwords that have been stored? And I can't remember if you can do it in one grouping or you can do it one at a time, because I did do that recently on somebody's computer, and because they were getting rid of their computer and I wanted to make sure that all of those things were gone. So I don't recall, Dick, if you can do it in one group or not. There is and I'm not there, and I don't want to go there because it shows mine.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go live.
We have a question or comment from Donna.
I just have a comment. I deal with this all the time. In corporate setting, it's a little bit different, but users unknowingly say yes to saving the password, and the reason I have to go in and clean them out, and I do have to go in and clean them out one at a time. My guess is that probably somewhere in the registry is knowing how Windows works. But it also, if you do have a password on your computer, and you, now I see this in corporate, that's where I work on individual computers, but they start getting locked out of their computers because they've got old passwords saved. The system doesn't know, if you have a username, it doesn't know which password to use. So that's another reason. And I would add, if people don't have a password manager, which I always recommend, I use one on all my systems, is that if they have OneNote, you can create a page in OneNote and password save it. And I tell them, if you don't have a password manager, you have OneNote, go in and just put a password in OneNote and a password save the password. But some of them just put them like in a Word files.
Yep.
I did not hear her.
My comment on that.
The comments were that, number one, she thought that the passwords probably are stored someplace in the registry, and it's been her experience that they do have to be removed one at a time. I might try to Google that and see if I can come up with another answer, because if there were a file, then that would be helpful for you to remove the file temporarily if you're taking it to a repair shop, for example.
Yeah, I think she is right. I think they are stored in the registry as well. And that's probably why you would have to do it one at a time. But there might be a setting in the file that will remove them as well in one group. That would be something to look for. I'll have to check that myself.
That's a reminder. I handle on group policy.
Ron Brown wants to say something, and I'm going to give him access here. Hang on one second. Unmute. Okay, Ron, you have the floor.
Thank you. Huey, we're going to talk about this in about an hour in my group as well. So, Huey, I just want to let you know, Google has done a lot of work on their password manager in the last few years. It is true that you can see it on your computer, but it's encrypted, and it's not. That's the old version of many years ago when we had password managers within browsers. Yes, there were text files, and you could actually see them. You can't do that anymore. It's encrypted, and in fact, if you go and you try to look at the password, and you click on that password, you actually have to put your Google password in there before you can see the password because it's encrypted. So the old notion that you can see a text file and have all your passwords available is not true anymore. Okay, and that's why Google has just spent a whole bunch of time and effort in upgrading their whole system. As well, they do what they call a password checker now within the Google passwords, and they will actually take all your passwords, go out and check them on the internet in the dark web and see if any of them have been compromised. This is called password checker, which is built in now to the password program. So it is, I think it is safe, and before you can see them, you'll have to actually put your Google password in there to see those passwords.
I only had to put in my Windows PIN to see them on my computer. This is a PC.
It may be dependent on the settings that you set up, but I can't. I've just done it on mine, and if I go in my Chromebook and I try to look, it's the same whether you do it on a PC or a Chromebook. I can't get in. I have to put my Google password in.
You have to put a password of some sort. It's probably the operating system that handles it.
Well, it might be. It might be. It might be. But it is password protected, and it's not a text file. So that. I don't believe that's true. I think that it's. I think actually it's a very, very safe form of password management, and it's also endorsed by Google, who's very security conscious.
Okay, and I appreciate the comments. That I think the one thing that if anything else, even if I'm wrong, the thing is that the passwords are there, and if you have saved any, or if you're helping somebody with their computer and they have saved them, you might be able to get into something they don't remember what the password is.
Only, but it's all encrypted. It's encrypted to the same standard that LastPass has done. That it's military grade encryption. You can't pass that unless you got the password.
Yeah, but if they have if they know their password to log on to, let's say it's their Chromebook, it would then be their Chrome OS, or in this case in Windows, they know the PIN they have to
Correct.
Type in to open up Windows. They can get into it.
That's
and
true.
Then they might be able to find a password of a website that they don't have a clue of what they used 4 years ago to sign on to a particular website.
That is true, but you still need a PIN and you still need a password, as would be with any password manager.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But knowing that list is there might help somebody, help a neighbor, a friend, a relative that can't find a password to get into their an old banking account or an investment account or something like that, and they put a password in and they don't remember what it was. And if they had saved it through their browser and they can get to it, at least they have it written somewhere.
Well, but you know, Hugh, you and I used to teach many years ago that we didn't want people using password managers using browsers to store passwords, because you were right. Many years ago, they were stored in a text file, and anyone that hacked into your computer could just take that text file and off they go. And that was Internet Explorer that started that, right? But that's all old stuff now. That's not the case. Those files that are stored are encrypted. So if someone breaks into your computer, doesn't have the password, they can't get that file.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Don't have a problem, and thank you for updating me on that.
Okay.
But I do want people to realize that file is out there, and the ability to find those, if you know the master password,
right,
you can get in there and might be able to help somebody find passwords that they don't remember or can't access.
Right.
So yeah, thank you very much, Ron, and I will
Okay.
see you on your
Yeah.
thing a little bit later.
Okay.
But I'm going to get back to this, but thank you for
Sure.
that
Okay.
information. And that's why we do this, folks, is I'm not right with everything. Although I'd like to be. And if you find something different, please let me know. And let all of us know. I don't want to give you wrong information as well. Okay, any other comments? Good, all right. Now, going along with passwords, the next item on my list is how to find the Wi-Fi password in Windows 10. And let me find that article. I wish I wrote down the same title here as I did in the article so I can find the right one. Reset. We'll talk about that next. And something has got to be here somewhere. There it is right there. I learned about this a long time ago, and every once in a while it jumps back up, and I either have to find it in my Evernotes or I have to go do a search, but I can find how to find your Wi-Fi password in Windows 10. So, and it's usually when I'm trying to help a neighbor and I have to get on their Wi-Fi, or we're reinstalling, or they got a new computer, and I say, what's your Wi-Fi password? I don't know. Well, there's several ways you can find out. Method one is find the Wi-Fi password on Windows 10 using network settings. So you come down here in the corner, and I don't have Wi-Fi set up on this, so I can't do it. I'm using direct wire only. On the bottom right section of the Windows taskbar, and hover over the Wi-Fi icon. And then you'll see it says Open Network and Internet Settings. Let's go ahead and make this bigger so you can see it. First, you find right here the Wi-Fi, and then when you do that, it'll open Network and Internet Settings. This will open a status settings in Windows, and then you want to click on Change Your Network Settings. This will populate a list of available network adapters, and what you're going to see under Status, and this is what it's going to look like. And then what you want to do is click on Wireless Properties, because it's going to show you what the ID is, how long you've been connected, and some information about it. And then you want to click on Wireless Properties. When you do, the next will be the Security tab. You want to, this will come up, and you want to go to the Security tab, and you'll see right here, Network Security Key, and it'll be right there. And it'll tell you what your logon is for your internet, for the Wi-Fi. And it's that easy. And that's it for what I wanted to cover on that article. So if you lost, or you're trying to help your neighbor and they don't have any idea, they set up their Wi-Fi when the guy from the cable company or whoever installed their Wi-Fi was there, they wrote it down, and they don't have any idea where they wrote it down, or they don't remember what it was. They never had to use it again. And now they bought a new computer and they want to get online, or their phone, they got a new phone, they want to get online on their Wi-Fi. They come to you and say, how do I do this? Well, here's how you can, if they've got an existing computer that's already on that Wi-Fi, you can go in and find out what the Wi-Fi code or key is that you can get on. Okay, let's see.
Huey, I do have a comment.
Sure.
I think in the previous article, the writer said before I started using Dashlane, I would use little scraps of paper or a little notebook and keep things in my sock drawer or wherever, and was hard to find. The sock drawer is a great idea, and a little spiral, a 3-inch notebook to write down your router password, your password for Gmail, for example, all those things. Even if you are using Dashlane, it's still a good idea to have a piece of paper someplace, because if you lose some of these things, it can be impossible. I mean, I've had people who either crashed a computer or something like that, and they didn't realize they didn't know what their password was for Gmail. And you can't get that back. They won't help you. You have to get a new Gmail address. You lose your address book. It can be really a problematic thing. So it's a great idea to force
I
yourself.
would suggest on the Gmail Google account, you want to make sure that in your settings for your Google account and your Gmail account, that you have a couple of things in the settings, and one of them is an emergency email and an emergency phone number, and neither of them should be the ones. The email should not be your email address. You should have a secondary one somewhere. It could be your wife's or your husband's. But if you should lose it, that's how you can reset it, because you then send a message to Google that you lost your password, and they will try to make sure that it's you by verifying it's you by contacting either that phone number or that email address.
Another comment here, Don.
The other thing is that most of us have more than one device. I use a password manager. I have it on my PC, my phone, I have it on my phone, I have it on my tablet, I have it on my computer at work. So that, no matter where I am, I've got that password. The only problem with that is to remember to update each one of those devices, because I have forgotten to do that, not have it on.
She's commenting that one of the advantages of the password manager is you can use it on a tablet, your phone, and various computers. But you do have to remember to update each of those devices if you're making a change in the product.
Some of the password managers, mine in particular, mine is called eWallet, and from a company called I got to remember the name of the company now. I don't remember off the top of my head. What they have is they store an encrypted file, and I happen to store it on Dropbox, but there are different places you can in the cloud, and then all of my devices sync to that. So when I open up my eWallet, it goes out to that file that's stored out there and copies it back down to my computer, and we'll open it. It also, when I close my version, it will sync back to it any changes I made. And then when I sign in with my phone, I sign in with my Chromebook, I sign in with Windows, I sign in with my iPad. Each time I sign in, it goes out, gets that file, and resyncs it. And then any changes I make, it syncs with that master file as well. So it's updating and syncing at each time you open and close it. And it really works well.
Okay, we have one more comment or question. He's commenting that LastPass does the same syncing. Is it difficult to set that up to do that?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and let's see, how are we doing in time? Okay.
Our speaker is not here, so please continue.
Yes, he is. He's here.
You snuck in. Oh, Mark. I know you were here. Great.
Okay, and let's see,
Huey, the next item on your list of agenda for today, just saw it about CCleaner. Microsoft removed CCleaner ban from their community forums. What's that about, please?
Okay, well, okay, let's skip to that then. By the way, there is an article on how to enable a password reset from Windows 10 login screen, and that's a good article to have in your library. And okay, Microsoft. And open it here. This was as of September 27th, so only a couple of weeks ago. Microsoft had a decision to add CCleaner to a blacklist that would prevent the software's official site, CCleaner.com, from being posted in the Microsoft community forums. And that was reported, it was reported that Microsoft moderators now have added it back into where they could be used. The blacklist included the CCleaner site is shown. Let's see if it explains why. A source familiar with the matter told Bleeping Computer that CCleaner was originally banned due to Microsoft's general stance towards registry cleaners and system optimizers. In other words, they don't recommend them at all. Microsoft has long held a position that they do not support Windows registry cleaners or system optimizers, as they have a history of causing issues for those who run them, and many can be considered scams. Microsoft is not responsible for issues caused by using a registry cleaning utility. We strongly recommend that you only change values in the registry that you understand or have been instructed to change by a source that you know, and you can back up the registry before making any changes. And I've always said that. CCleaner can be very dangerous to somebody who doesn't understand what it's changing. And a lot of times I don't like using it to clean the registry because I don't know what it's doing. So while CCleaner has had its own share of controversies, the registry cleaner and system optimizer, it's always had a good reputation, has been well liked by its user base. Therefore, it was a surprise when Microsoft decided to ban its domain from being posted. And now Microsoft has decided to remove the ban and will allow CCleaner to be recommended again in the forums. It's not known what caused them to backpedal on their decision, and if it had anything to do with the communication between Microsoft, Avast, or Piriform. And then there's some comments from different people below it. So apparently, Microsoft in general just doesn't like that type of program, and then somehow they've been convinced that, well, CCleaner is not so bad, but you really need to know what you're doing if you're going to use it.
Well, that next paragraph in comments, that person is apparently quite anti-Avast in general, and talks about his feeling is that they made ABG worse than it was, and now Piriform.
Yeah, and you can read down, there'll be some other people who have it. This is from a forum, and I don't want to get into those discussions here because this is somebody's opinion. That's not part of the article. But the point being is that if you heard that CCleaner shouldn't be used because Microsoft said not to use it, they now, it's not that they recommend it, but it's now okay to talk about it in their forums with some of the people who are experts in the Microsoft operating systems and so on that help people online. And but if you don't know what you're doing, CCleaner can be very dangerous. And so be careful if you are using it. Ron's got another comment. All right, Ron, you got the floor.
Huey, I just wanted to mention it was a password question or comment. Most people who use Windows, particularly historically, are not used to having a Windows account, and they don't understand that if you had Windows 7, you might have had a password to get into Windows 7, but you actually didn't have to create a Microsoft account. With Windows 10 coming along, unless you created a local account, and we're upgrading from Windows 7, all new installations of Windows 10, you have to have a Microsoft account, which means you have to have a login and password. The problem is people don't use these very often. And if you then go and get a new computer, you're going to need to know your Microsoft username and password. And you have to remember that. It's an extremely important password. And I thought that it would be just important to bring that up and make sure everybody knows what their Windows password is and write it down. I like the notebook idea, but you have to remember what that is because it has enormous repercussions if you're going to load Office 365 or you're going to add any other Microsoft products. If you don't know what your Microsoft password is, you're in big trouble. Same as Google password.
Absolutely. And I just ran into that with one of my neighbors whose computer died, and we at least had a backup, and I was able to grab some files and so on. And then we were able to restore some of it, and I was able to get in and get some of his passwords, and that's how I found his Microsoft password, although he had about 10 different ways it could have been, and we started playing with them. But yeah. Without that, he couldn't get his Office to work properly, and remember that what he had installed and what he had paid for. And without it, you really got to keep track of these things.
You do, and you probably read the article that came out the last couple of weeks from Microsoft that said no more local accounts. You must have a Microsoft account now, which means you will need a username and password for Microsoft.
Yeah, some people were able to get away with using their Gmail email address to log into Windows. They won't be able to do that soon.
Right.
So yeah, thank you. Whoops, I muted the wrong thing here. There we go. Okay, and that pretty much covers everything that I was going to cover, not counting the Windows stuff that I think that your speaker is going to be covering. So I'll open to any questions. Let me bring this up. Are there any questions from either online or on the floor?
I think we're good here.
Okay, and I don't see anything from the chat box. So I just want to remind everybody that this is October 13th, the Windows SIG meeting for the month of October. The month of November is going to be the same date as the APCUG 2019 Florida Conference. So I am going to be there, and there's not going to be a way possible for me to conduct the SIG. So there will not be a SIG online or at the meeting for the November meeting, and you'll get information on what will be covered for the November meeting of CFCS as Stan gets that arranged and updated. But I will not be online, nor will I be there. So I will be in Zephyr Hills, and I hope some of you will be there as well. So with that note, I'm going to say thanks for joining. By the way, if you found that my microphone quality wasn't quite as good, my headset took a turn for the worse and passed away yesterday when Stan and I were trying it. We always do a test prior to the date of the meeting, and he couldn't hear me, and it turns out it was the microphone part of my headset. So I've ordered a desktop mic, and I'm probably going to order another headset similar to the 7-year-old one that I had that just died. I had it for 7 years. It's worked very well. The one I'm using today, I don't like the microphone nearly as well, and it's farther away from my mouth, and I can't adjust that. So I'm not as happy with the sound, and I am I apologize for that, but hopefully you heard me all right. And I want to thank Ron Brown for jumping in with some corrections and additions. And the people online, we can do that more and more if you have things that you would like to add or ask. I've been on some other meetings from other groups, and that's how some of them do it. They allow anyone who's online to join in. So I may start doing that a little bit more. So if we have a problem, then we'll just have to figure out on the fly what we want to do. But for the most part, it should work. And so you have a good Thanksgiving, because I won't see you in November unless you're in Zephyr Hills. And so we'll see you at the December meeting. This is Huey Popock saying thank you for joining.
Time does fly. Thank you very much, Huey. Very interesting. Appreciate your efforts. And we'll be talking about Christmas before long at all.